Hi guys, happy Sunday with Satan. Yeah, I think I've got a cold going on. I don't know. Allergies, cold, I don't know. It's pretty cold today, so alright. I really honestly don't remember where we left off. Do you guys? Because I don't at all. Maybe. Yeah, I do actually. Oh, more ritual objects. That's where we left off. I'm like looking at my napkin like, what? Alright. Okay, so, yeah, additional ritual objects. When we get to the end of this, it's so incredibly amazing. I really, honestly, you guys need to get this book. It's so historically accurate, and it's very accurate for modern day. So it's awesome. So, all right, now additional ritual objects may include a stone head or a human skull, because that's very readily attainable right now. Animal or human bones. Ooh. Crystals and magical gems, a scrying mirror, a censer, lanterns, masks, and fetishes or spirit images. So yeah, I think we all have that on our altars. So the stang is the primary ritual tool in traditional witchcraft and is made of yew, ash, or blackthorn depending on its use and symbolism. We already went over this. So it is a forked staff and is sometimes carved at the top of the face or the head of the horned god. So it usually stands in the north of the circle and represents the presence, of Old Horny and the divine authority he grants to the magister as head of the coven. So now, in some traditions, such as Robert Cochrane's clan of Cain, which is really interesting about the clan of Cain, I didn't know it was that recent, which kind of makes me, I don't know how I feel about that. So the stang is moved around the circle at each seasonal rite, and stands at a different compass point each time. So yeah, that's very true in Cornish craft. So now it is then garlanded with the relevant seasonal flowers, foliage, and symbols appropriate to the festival that is being celebrated. So in other traditions, this thing is symbolic of the Tau cross, on which the Lord of Light is sacrificed. So when used in this way, 2 crossed arrows and a small sickle is fixed to the shaft of the stang. They represent the weapons used to sacrifice the god or his human representative. Ooh, I wouldn't want to be the human representative. Not unless it was a mock ritual. So a human skull and crossbones are positioned at its base, which we've already learned in Gemma Gary's books, to represent death and resurrection. Now, if the bones are crossed, they symbolize death, and if straight, rebirth. I like that. I like that idea. I like that concept. Now, in the fork, which is this part, the V of the stang, a lighted candle or lantern is placed to symbolize the attainment of spiritual illumination, gnosis, and enlightenment. That is the ultimate goal of the spiritual path or quest. So, betwixt the horns, literally. The light betwixt the horns. Alright, now the stang can represent Yggdrasil, or the world tree in Norse Germanic mythology, the Kabbalistic tree of life in mystical Judaism, and the biblical tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden myth. The axis mundi, or world pillar of ancient shamanic belief, and the pole, or North Star, the symbolic nail, or around which the heavens revolve. Yeah, I really had to look at that word. I have no clue what I wrote. So yeah, we have a magical diagram showing a stang, or a witch's forked staff, set in the center of a 6-fold plot, and that is courtesy of the Museum of Witchcraft. So we do have that, and that's basically what it should look like. So that's your compass, basically, everything that's going on inside the compass, etc., and so on. So I really like that. I really like the whole, idea of that. Now, some traditions also use a blasting rod, which is usually in the guardianship of the magister. So this is the blackthorn staff, and it is, as its name suggests, it's used on the very rare occasions when a hex, curse, or banishing may be required. Now, the wand or conjuring stick can be made of antler, bone, animal, or human, or various woods, depending on its magical use. So yew for necromantic rites, hazel for attaining wisdom or dowsing, willow for clairvoyancy, birch for fertility, assisting easy childbirth, and general healing, etc. Which is nice. So, alright, so some wands are phallic tipped, surmounted by a pine cone or a spirit image, or a fork-like mini stab or stang, which is actually what I have going on right now. I thought it was a stang. That's going to be a rod. Or, I thought it was a wand. Or an actual stang. It's not big enough. So I'm going to have to turn that into a wand. Where'd I go? Oh, okay, so now the besom or the broomstick is well known for medieval woodcuts and illustrations and fairy tales of old hags flying through the air with a pet black cat as pillion passenger. So as we have already seen, there are many folkloric accounts of the good women riding on formed sticks to meetings with Diana, Fra Holda, and Dame Abondia? Butchered that, sorry. Now in the Middle Ages, and more recently, witches used the Ungetnum Sabbathi, which is sabbatic ointment. So, the flying ointment, or lifting balm, to facilitate an astral travel. So this preparation was made with narcotic herbs and smeared on the shaft or handle of the broomstick. When the witch rode the stick, the ointment came in contact with skin, and entered into the bloodstream. So that is how, we all know what that does. In modern times, the besom is sometimes used to sweep the meeting ground, or the precincts of the circle of art before a ritual. So this is a symbolic act of purification, creating a sacred space between the worlds, now allowing access between Middle Earth and the other worlds. In some traditions, the circle of art is entered by stepping over the broomstick or cross sword and broom laid on the ground at its edge. So this is a symbol of the bridge that joins the material world with the spiritual realm. We all know that. Now, it is also an act that emphasizes the role of the besom as a magical vehicle used by the witch for traveling between the worlds. So the cauldron holds an important position within inner mysteries of the old craft. It is a symbol of the divine feminine, the life force, creation, birth, fertility, spiritual transformation, and regeneration. It is the cosmic womb of the Great Mother, from which all human beings and living things came at the beginning of time. And the void. Easter eggs, big time Easter eggs. If you watch Sabrina, I know I've said this a lot of times, but if you watch it, you're going to find a lot of, European witchcraft, traditional craft. So the void, abyss, or magical well that has the power to restore the dead to new life. So the cauldron also has the transformative power of rebirth and of initiation into the mysteries. So the cauldron is symbolic of the fairy mound, the cave in the hollow hill beyond the setting sun. I love that. I love that quote right there. So ruled in some traditions by the old queen, the dark goddess of the underworld, and or the horned god. So at the winter solstice, the child of promise, which we've already went over, where young horned king, is burned as the star child and lord of light, and is to the cauldron he must return for rebirth when the suffers the ritual death of the high noon of summer. So, one traditional source has described this ritual object as follows. The cauldron is one of the most extensive and important symbols of power. When the witch jumps over the cauldron, he or she is spanning the universe, timelessness, being and non-being. We are acknowledging the circle of infinity, the same circular rhythm of the sun and the moon, the never-ending track of transmutation. The cauldron is the universe, and when it is upon the earth and covering the flames, it is powerfully transformed into all things. It becomes the four elements: the womb of the Great Mother, the fire of the Great Father, darkness, light, abundance, and peace. It is the cosmic looking glass, reflecting external and internal change. And that is from the Wax and Wayne magazine, number 1, issue, autumn of 1975. Okay, and I am going to leave off right there with that. Really interesting. I mean, this is really interesting stuff. Alright, so I cannot get any of my pens to work. Maybe this one will. Okay, so some traditional witch. There, we'll just leave off with that. So, hopefully I can find it. It's really hard to write on napkin. Can't even read my writing, but that's okay. So we will go back over more of that. But yeah, once we really get into, the corresponding between Robert Chochrane and his clan of Chochrane, along with his wife and his kid and what he did, and his supposed restoration of the clan of Chochrane. But yeah, that's for later. So it's really interesting, though. It's really interesting. But alright, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Everybody, please be safe. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, all my love, all the way from Venus, and all the way back down. I am so tired. Don't know why, but alright, guys, I love you all. Everybody have a good day.